Mic. Camera. Action.
Hey, Mick!
Jesus, Frank, I couldn't wait.
Want to watch a movie? We caught a break. The owner had a camera system set up last month. I had the security tape transferred to a disc so I could manipulate.
I know this place. All right, and there's our boy Lewis.
And I would like you to meet Miss Reggie Campo. And there's Mr. Mustang.
You sure?
I wouldn't have popped $1,000 for the tape if I wasn't sure. Now, watch. Reggie gets up, goes to the ladies' room. Mr. Mustang chats up the bartender, so that's where he goes. That gives Reggie her chance. Watch her.
Wait, that's not how he said it went down. He said she gave him her address on a napkin.
Okay, hold on, Haas. Hold on. Let her go pee. Okay, here she comes. There's your napkin. Now, watch this. She and Mr. Mustang decide it's time to split. Look at his hand. Look at his watch.
It's on his left hand. That's not good. Facial blows are from the left. This guy's right-handed.
Babe, you haven't been drinking enough. You said you knew the association. You would realize this shot is into the mirror behind the bar. Or that's where the owner set up the camera so he could watch his register.
So everything's backwards.
And Mr. Mustang punches with his left.
Yeah, you proud of yourself, Frank?
I really, really am. But not just about this. That feeling I had about Reggie, that she was selling it, I did a little bit of research. She's a hooker.
You tell me the cops don't have this?
How can they? There's only one, and it's not a copy.
I'm gonna make a copy.
Well, you gonna give it to the prosecutor?
Yeah, a new guy named Ted Minton. He's gonna hand over the discovery file.
Oh, poor Bunny. He's not gonna know what hit him.
All right. Welcome back to Filmography, the show dedicated to watching every credited film from an actor's complete back catalogue from past debut through to present day in chronological order. Each episode, I'm joined by an esteemed guest to watch and discuss the next entry from the focused filmography and consider how it ranks amidst their career and whether we can trace any typecasting trends or topic traits or theatrical tics. Today, I'm joined by the innocent Tony Farina to discuss McConaughey in Brad Furman's adaptation of Michael Connelly's The Lincoln Lawyer from 2011. We watch, you listen, and hopefully watch along too. Now, obviously, they couldn't hear you laughing there because I pre-written my script and I wanted to introduce you. And of course, you've turned up announcing that you are in fact guilty. Yeah.
Guilty. Yes, that's funny. You didn't know that. Yeah, I wrote guilty in my name on our StreamYard. Yeah, no, well, because his license plate says not guilty. So, which I love. I love that. What an interesting character beat that Connelly wrote. I'm glad they kept it for the movie. I've not seen the show.
No, me either.
Yeah. So no, I've shown up guilty because somebody needs to be. Because somebody has to do something wrong. Although there's definitely a lot of good people done wrong in this. But there's definitely a lot of assholes too.
There certainly is, yeah. And I'm sure we'll get into some of the characters and how they're choosing to depict them and maybe think of a lot of kind of other... these fall into a very definitive category, don't they? And it's kind of hard to break the mold with these kind of movies and these kind of stories, but there were a few that kind of were ringing bells in my head as I was watching. Yeah. But I think it's important we start because this is it. This is proper. This is the reconnaissance.
This is the film
that launched the name, that launched it all. So I'm really glad, so you weren't the original guest. So yeah, but I'm really glad you are here because you launched this season with Days of Confused. So it kind of makes sense that we've come back around. Now you were launching the true kind of reconnaissance era as well.
I appreciate that. And you know what I noticed right off the bat? He's above the title. I mean, that was really impressive considering he's been above the title before. He shared above the title with like it was J-Lo and him, and he's been above the title in a few other movies, not maybe that he didn't deserve to be above the title, as you guys have discussed, you and Paul, but both times with Paul, you're like, why, what is going on? Who? I think Paul says both times, who's his agent? No shit. Oh my God. But he is fully above the title, deservedly so. 2 years out of the business, and he rolls up above the title, and that is there is an Academy Award winner across the aisle who already had her award at this point.
Yeah.
And so that, and again, I understand she's not the star, but like even in Time to Kill, Sandra Bullock is still top billing in that movie. And so this is like, so I'm really was surprised at that. And I was like, wow, that is strong, because I know obviously as I've listened along, and as you've said, he turned down, what, as you said, $14 million to do something. And so this is his out of the gate shots fired. This is the movie. And yet he still got above the title. And so I really do think that is impressive, because everybody at that point knew he was desperate, and he could have easily taken another Marissa Tomei and Matthew McConaughey type thing, or, Philippi is really second billing, and it's Marissa Tomei. Philippi does not deserve to be second billing above her, but he's on screen more than she is.
Yeah, that's true.
But she's a better actor than him. She's a bigger star than him. All of the things. She's better looking than him. She's all the things than him. But yeah. So I just found that really amazing, and I hope when we get to the end and you read from the book how he pulled that off.
Well, okay. So let's hit. I'm going to disappoint you. There's not a lot in the book. Well, there is, but he talks about this kind of next little run of films in the build up to Dallas Buyers Club, all in a clump.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to save that for
when you get to that. Sure,
exactly. Sure. Yeah. He sort of says like he talks very briefly about the time. He talks in depth about the time he wasn't working, but then very briefly about then it happened, and then I got this, and I got that, and then I got that, and then suddenly there's Dallas Buyers Club. So
got it.
Yeah, I'm going to save that for when
Fair enough.
Because he does Mud, he does this, he does Killage. He talks about them all in kind of one.
Those are all good. Those are good.
Yeah.
They're all good. This is impressive. I've never seen this before.
No,
and it's good.
And I think we both felt like we had. Yes. I know. I was convinced. And it started it. Em and I watching it together. Two things to say here. Yeah, I was convinced I'd seen it before, and I definitely haven't. Although now looking back, it makes sense. 2011, my eldest was born the following year, so we're heavily into the pregnancy probably at the time this is coming out. It just wouldn't have been on my radar probably. And then when he was born, forget about it. I didn't see anything for about 2 years, as we all know. But also Emma stayed awake all the way through this last night. So
wow, that is a 5-star review, 5-star couch review from.
That's
Emma.
A good sign, because she endeavoured to watch Ghost of Girlfriend's Past with me as well, because of the Garner factor.
Good woman.
And about, honestly, no exaggeration, 10 minutes in, she was gone next to me. I just thought, I'm going to leave you. You don't need this. You don't need it in your life. I appreciate the support.
You love her too much for that. Yeah, that's such a shit movie. We shut it off. It was so bad. Oh man, I hate that movie. Anyway, this one though,
and you mentioned Agent as well, which is interesting. I'm sure you remember, but for anybody if they're just tuning into this episode, at this point he is under a new agent. He is under new management. Surfer Dude was kind of, the line was drawn there. People got sacked off. I need a new direction. I need a new.
Shocking, really?
Yeah, I need a new team. So whoever he's brought in, this is how he's got above the line, maybe above the title. So
and it was worth it. It was a risk because and here's the thing though, he did do, and you and Max talked about this, and it's like he did throw Frailty in there, and I like Frailty a lot. Mm-hmm. We talked about it when we did Rain of Fire. I think that's a good movie, and Bill Paxton. It was very. You guys talked about this too, and I know this isn't the Bill Paxton show, but honestly, it's like, and I didn't look at it. I guess I could go back and look. Did he do A Simple Plan before or after Frailty?
Oh, good question.
Because that is probably is one of Sam Raimi's gems that everybody forgets exists, but I fucking love that movie. But it has that vibe, it has that dark. Simple Plan is so good, and so anyway, there's this thing where like Bill Paxton is playing against type, and McConaughey plays against type, and that. But then you realize the type is manufactured. right?
Yeah.
And so in this, he gets to be handsome. He gets to, get the guns out. He gets to make out with Marissa Tomei. You get to see beautiful people on screen together. William H. Macy decides to wear the porn stash. Brilliant. Love that choice. Like all of that. Like he gets to be all those things, but he's also really good. And you see he worked with Bill Paxton, who is great, I mean, honestly, he's in so many good things. And McConaughey, you see in listening to you talk and how he is a student. He literally went to film school, but he also is a student of the people he's with. So he's been on screen with Morgan Freeman at this point, and Sir Anthony Hopkins, and Bill Paxton, and Samuel L. Jackson. And he's been on screen with these really great people. And you can see, and Marissa Tomei is right there. So he's always in school.
Yeah.
And it pays off in this. This could have been, they could have taken this and douche-broed it up. And Mick is a bit of a douche, right? He's not really a hero. And they could have leaned in. It could have been really icky and uncomfortable with the Earl relationship, and it never gets there. And it's like in a different hands with the wrong people, the wrong person, even like Philippi and as Mick, it's a different thing. Yeah. So all of everything led to this. So this is the McConaughey. You see it. You see all the work that he put in.
Yeah.
Pay off here.
And almost in microcosm in this movie, which I think is fascinating from what you've just said about the idea of like Mick is a bit of a smarmy guy. To begin with, he's all charm. He's talking fast. He's talking over people. He's getting everything that he wants all the time in the kind of the first half an hour of the movie. And you're getting like, this guy is slick. He knows his stuff. Like the Lincoln car and the kind of office in the back is all about presenting that lifestyle. He's presenting to people who he is. I'm always on the move and I'm fast paced and I get stuff done. I'm, he doesn't need to be working out of that car. That's an image he's portraying, isn't it?
Sure.
He's projecting. And then we see that transformation through the movie. I don't think it's a redemption story. I don't know if he really needs it per se. It is always hard to root as a viewer for a defense attorney, isn't it? You are like, when the cop calls him out in the lift and he's like, how do you sleep at night? You kind of go, yeah, actually, how do you? Because the system works. You have to have that person for the system. I get it. But I think this is a microcosm of that. You see the kind of the charm McConaughey rom-com-y guy, all that stuff that he's done in the build up to this in the first half an hour. And then you see, oh yeah, that is what he can do. We've seen him do that in snippets in certain movies, and we're about to see it non-stop for the next 7, 8, 9, 10 movies. This is the range he's got. This is the depth he's got. When he becomes kind of frazzled and unsure of himself and moralistic in this movie, there's just another level to his performance, which I don't think I've seen for quite some time now.
Yeah, and it's because he has the chance to, because he's got the juicy material. He's got the frailty material. And we talked about the screen chewing that he does in Reign of Fire, which is great. And they all had big fun. But again, he does the small movies, even in 13 Conversations. And, he's still, throughout the rom-com era, he was still trying. Sahara, he keeps trying to do, and that's still a delightful rom-com, but it's not. It's it's an action adventure. It's fun. I love that movie. It's super fun. But like, he's always, and in that he is just sort of, he's that charming, winky guy. But even then, he still has to be smart. It would be easy for him with his accent and with his everything and the way he all right. So when he rolls up, it would have been an easy. He could have gone dumb guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Right. He could have said, because playing dumb is hard. That's a hard thing. But he could have easily made that choice. I'm sure he got plenty of dumb guy, surfer dude roles, where it's just like, like things that Nick Cage has probably played in his career, right?
Well, speaking of Sahara, Steve Zahn, that's kind of
Steve Zahn. Oh, that's perfect. Steve Zahn is a really good actor. Like, he's been in. Did you ever see Management with him and Jennifer Aniston? It's so good. It's like a little. It's so good. It's just like it's the two of them and Woody Harrelson, and it's just weird. It's just this weird little movie, but he's so good in it, and he is like, he definitely has played. he has good range. But right, because being funny is hard. But yeah, he definitely plays the dumb guy a lot. He plays the sidekick a lot. And he could have gone that way. And I know it's his handsome good looks that made him not be the sidekick forever. But also his drive. It's like, it's like what's fascinating when we read the Last Action Hero book. And I've never read Arnie's book. But like in that book, which I did, I'm kind of glad, like reading a third person account of Arnie and his work ethic and all of that, it makes it feel a little more real. And he's like, of course, I worked on that. But for another person to be like, no, he studied. No, he asked questions. No, he took direction. No, he was serious about how badass he looked carrying that log in Commando. Like, do we need to take it again? No, you literally carried a tree out. We're going to make you do that one take, one time. But he was willing to do it again. And I think that's what you see with McConaughey here. And I think it's funny what you say too. And this is where he's a good acting partner. He gives, like, in the scenes that he's in, he knows how to, like, we always talk about his chemistry and that he has it with a lot of people. And then sometimes he doesn't, which are like, that's weird. How is that possible? But in this, he gives it like the tension with him and Filipino. I don't think Filipino's a very good actor.
Agreed. Yeah.
But again, I feel like McConaughey elevates him. He goes toe to toe with Marissa, right?
Yeah.
Like every scene that he's in, like he when he's with Leguizamo, Val, they're like, bah, 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 bah. And it's almost as though because Mick is the chameleon, he's code switching with them. But to do that as an actor, you have to do it. So it's not like you just said this movie in 3 acts is the 3 acts of his career, but also it's just like a bit of a masterclass of, and it's weird that it's in this crime book. Michael Connelly, who's this crime, and again, this is my first Michael Connelly book. I read it after this assignment, after I was asked to teach it. I was like, not only am I going to watch the movie, I'm going to read the book, which I did. It is pacey, man. It is good. It is like, and of all the things for you to be able to show that kind of range and what could be just like another, and you even said it right off the top, there's a lot of movies that are like this.
There is, yeah. And I think this does enough to kind of differentiate itself but I mean, in my review of it on Letterboxd, I called it what happens when John Grisham meets a James Patterson. That's exactly what this is, right? It's the staidness of a Grisham courtroom thriller with the pace of a James Patterson kind of detective action thriller. It kind of meets those two worlds perfectly, I think.
It does. It is. That's well said. It is very, and I've read, both of those. I've read equal amounts, probably of both of them. I've not read all of their stuff. My feeling for Patterson in the later years. But those Maximum Ride books, dude, my God, the title is perfect because those books, you pick them up and you're done. It's like, I just read 300 pages and I didn't blink because he knows how to pace. Patterson knows how to pace. And you're right. And Grisham doesn't know how to pace. His adaptations are usually better than his books. Where this is like bang on. Like, I'm shocked that he didn't write the screenplay because it's not... when the Coen stood up and essentially said we didn't deserve this Oscar because we're going to take it, but because we just wrote essentially what Cormac wrote on the page, which is true. This is that. I mean, there are, I'd say, 50 to 60% of Mick's dialogue is the dialogue from the book.
It's interesting. I watched a couple of behind the scenes where McConaughey was in conversation with Michael Connelly, another one with Michael Connelly himself. I think he was quite involved. He may not have written the script, or he didn't write the script, but I think he was quite involved. I think he was on set. He had a say in McConaughey getting cast.
Really? Well, that helps getting your name above the title. Yeah,
for sure. So that's quite interesting as well when you consider, as we both discussed before we started recording, actually, we don't really know him as a writer. We don't know we haven't watched a TV series. We haven't ever watched any Bosch or read any Bosch, but where he takes the character of Mick Haller is quite different after this entry. But I think he was all in on McConaughey. In the conversation, I wrote it down. There's an easy charm between them, actually, and you could tell they were getting on. And Connelly says to him something like, "Oh, I've got plenty of other stories with Michael Connelly and where the character's going to go." And they've said earlier about he had asked McConaughey, how did it feel putting on his shoes and becoming this character? And McConaughey, you know what he's like, charm, quick as a flash, was like, "You keep writing them, I'll keep putting on the shoes." So at that point, they kind of it maybe felt like it was somewhere that this could go, and Connelly was more than happy for McConaughey to carry on playing the character, it appeared.
Right, but now 10 years later, there's a TV show, and
the TV show, and yeah,
he's definitely not in it.
No, well, as we just he's taking the character ethnically in a different direction, which was obviously something he wanted to do, maybe to give his character a bit more depth. But yeah, I don't know. It's a shame because we've discussed Sahara very briefly here. Like that was McConaughey's first attempt at like a franchise.
Yeah.
And that fell flat on his face. This could have been a franchise, and unfortunately, this didn't become one for him. It became one later on TV, didn't it, on Netflix?
Yeah,
but...
and it doubled its budget, so I don't get it. I don't. It wasn't. I mean, the most expensive thing about this is the car and shooting in Los Angeles, right? Like shooting, like they're shooting, like. And I know, like it's Los Angeles, like everybody shoots in Los Angeles, right? But these are like on the streets. You got to like block off roads and shit. This is like looking at the budget. It was clearly William H. Macy was like, okay, I won't get a haircut, so we can shoot on this street today. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's how I feel. It was like the budget was all on the set and in the way that it looks.
Yeah, I imagine people are working for maybe not for scale, but they're probably not working for their full whack. They could charge and demand in order to be in this script. So I imagine they probably thought this might be a hit.
Yeah.
And that talk of like McConaughey coming back probably was quite a big deal. I imagine that this guy's not been around for a couple of years. He's putting that aside. It's a bit of a risk, I suppose, but also it's like we are the relaunch of his career. So if this had really slammed, that's a big celebration for you. Like that's a real feather on your cap, isn't it? That we are the script which enticed McConaughey back, and look what we did with it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a real shame. I mean, I'm quite tempted, if I'm honest, to go and check out the series and see what it's like.
The TV series, the Netflix series?
Yeah, try that out first. And then if that's any good, like go, because that doesn't remake this. It does make the second book, doesn't it? It is based on the second book.
Okay. That's where it starts. And because the fourth season just came out. And I think there's like 6 or 7 of these. And then there's crossover books. So like on Goodreads, it's like, this is Mick Heller 1, but Bosch 16.
Right. Yeah.
And so I'm assuming at some point they meet.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And now there's that new spin-off with Maggie Q.
Yeah, the Ballard thing.
Yeah. So everybody's, I don't know, it's crazy.
I did note down something fun actually and did my research. So In the Crossing, which came out in 2015, which is a Bosch novel, so a few years after this, obviously. I'm not sure which Bosch novel, where it comes in the series. There's a bit where Haller is in that book. And somebody says to the Haller character, this is where it gets meta, you've received the ultimate imprinture of LA acceptance. You've had a movie about you, about one of your cases starring Matthew McConaughey. That's not verbatim, obviously. That's kind of, that's the general idea. Amazing. So
I love that.
Yeah, like I say, they were, at that point, everything seemed pretty rosy. Everyone was all in. But maybe it's McConaughey himself. Suddenly we know his career is about to lift off.
Sure.
And maybe they came back to him and said, do you want to do the next one? He's like, at this point, I don't know. I've got True Detective. That's going to take up a lot of my time. I've got this Dallas Buyers Club. I'm going to starve myself and get thinned down and go for the Oscar for that. And so, yeah, who knows?
Yeah. No, I mean, and it's fine. It's fine. I mean, if it's just a one-off and it's hit, not everything needs to be a series. And that's okay. And it's interesting in the book, they like talk about like having a serial client and that this case is supposed to be his one that's going to like feed him for a long time, because he sees like, if I do well for this, it's going to bring me all these other cases. And then this person is going to be a repeat client because I'm going to do such good work. So it's interesting that that's also a hat on that hat as well. Yeah. But anyway, so we haven't talked about the movie at all, have we?
Not really. No. But I mean, what is there? Like we said, it hits that template, doesn't it? It really is. Lawyer gets pulled in on a case. There's more going on than perhaps you suspect. Is he going to do the right thing? Isn't he going to do the right thing? People get threatened. I mean, it is kind of, I wouldn't say paint by numbers, but things like Tom Cruise, The Firm, which obviously is a Grisham, isn't it? Or it reminded me a little bit of things like Primal Fear to an extent.
I thought it was more I thought that. I don't know who wrote Primal Fear, but that was definitely the one that I thought of immediately. Yeah.
Without spoiling that movie, because of the dynamic between the lawyer and the client.
Was that like Ed Norton's breakout?
That was, yeah.
Yeah. That was quite a year for him. Yeah, but that's what I thought. I mean, I thought, and I don't know who wrote that. I guess we should look it up to see if that was Connelly too, if he was going back to his own well. But yeah, no, it definitely made me feel like that. And I know that's based on a book as well. And I agree. And I think that's, if you're going to do these things, and this is why this works as a movie. And again, I don't know what the rest of the books are like and why they work better as a series. And like I said, Bosch has been a series, and then they spun off the Bosch series. And now there's the Ballard series, which is also part of it, which is Maggie Q. And so like this universe is good, and good for Michael. Like that's my dream. Hello, universe. Hello, Hollywood. Yes. I would like you to make the expanded Austin universe. I'm here for that. You can make a movie and a TV series and an animated show and an Audible podcast. Yes, let's talk, please. So it's not like that's a thing that you don't want. So good for him. I think that's fantastic, because I didn't like the Spencer for Hire TV show. I thought it was bad. I liked the 2 Spencer movies that Joe Mantegna did, and then now the Marky Mark Spencer movies look bad to me. They're not, and I'm disappointed in that. But I mean, I'm glad. Like I understand things like this are rife for adaptation. Like Grisham for a while was just like a blank check, right? It's like Grisham wrote a novel, it's a book, it's a movie. And like Mark Miller notoriously writes his comic books to be made. Like he knows what he was like writing them. Like here's the thing that you're going to use to make the movie. He didn't know that. Like Connelly didn't know that at the time. So I appreciate the success. I appreciate the meta-ness in future novels.
I think he's pretty prolific, isn't he? I think he'd written 16 books or something by the time this came out, and he was a journalist and all kinds of stuff before that.
It's
so
really
he's
impressive.
Been working hard up until this point, I think. Yeah,
I still think he's working hard, and I think this is good. I think it's very good. It's not. Again, it's genre. Right, obviously, and I'm not anti-genre. I read Stephen King. Like I love the Odd Thomas. I haven't read all of Dean Koontz books. I haven't even read all the Odd Thomas books, but the ones that I've read, I love. And it's always like I think all the time, I'm like, God, I should read more Odd Thomas because I love those. I don't know if you ever read Odd Thomas.
I haven't, no.
And I know you're not really a supernatural guy, so Dean Koontz is maybe not your thing. But Dean Koontz, I think when you play in genre, and the reason why Stephen King is the king is because he's in the genre, but he's like, fuck you, genre. Watch this. Right. And I'm just going to, I am the genre now. And I think what I like about this book and this film is it is very, like you said, it's very paint by numbers. It's all these things, but like, what if it's not just a Law and Order procedural? What if there's an arc? What if there's a daughter? What if there's a complicated relationship with your ex-wife? What if you've got a best friend? Like, the subtle thing. So in the movie, William H. Macy plays Frank. His name is Raul. In the book, and he's gay. And it's not an issue. Like that, like, so here's this guy who's like manly guy, like, he's handsome, manly, straight white guy, right? He's literally being driven around by a man of color as his chauffeur in a Lincoln Town car. Yikes. But in the book and the movie, he and Earl are really tight. And in the book, his musical taste, mixed musical tastes have become Earl's musical taste. So like he's at home and Maggie comes over and he's listening to something and she's like, what the hell is this? And he's like, you got to give it a chance. And he is like the biggest Tupac fan, Mick is, because of Earl. Right. Yeah. And so it could be a totally different thing. So I appreciate that. And like the fact that he gets mad at the other cop for insinuating, like making a gay joke about Frank and this and Raul in the book. So there's like this layered thing. And in a paint by numbers, this is an episode of Law and Order. You don't get that. Yeah, no, that's fair. I think that's interesting said about Elder Driver. Yeah. That dynamic is immediately established. And I was like, oh, okay, 2011, that's interesting. But they do just enough in the movie. Obviously, I've not read the book, unfortunately. I didn't have time. But that's not true. I didn't make enough time. I didn't think far enough. No, it's fine. No, it's all fine. You are. I did it for A View to Kill. I just passed me by. This was based on a book. I didn't really think enough about it. I thought that one scene when they have them talking in the car about why Earl is still there, is still his driver, I thought was nicely done. I thought that kind of, I don't know whether that was from the book or that was put in for the movie. That was right, a little different. It's a little different, but yeah. I think that right around really works. I'd have like, well, you could have stopped being my chauffeur 3 months ago, but you're good at the job. You like the job. You want to keep doing the job. So I've kept you around. It was all unsaid, but it was said at the same time. I thought that was good. And I really appreciated the stuff with Marissa Tomei's character.
and the fact that they just got on.
Yeah.
I could have done without the drunk hookup scene, if I'm honest.
Right in the book, though.
Sure. It just I
didn't need it. I know, but you're like, we're going to get these two people to roll around a bed, so we're going to.
I hear you. Yeah, I hear you.
That's all
I think
that
if I was adapting it, I'd probably have been like, "Do we really need this?" I think
no. We can cut.
Yeah,
we can cut, and it could just be. And I think it would be more fun for the audience for them to both just wake up in bed with their daughter between them, and them not sure what happened.
That'd be great. Absolutely. Like, have they just? And that's still confusing for the daughter, so that whole scene can still play out exactly the same.
Yeah.
The fact they just got on,
and
made the best of it, and just still liked each other, but just their relationship hasn't worked out. I thought it was really refreshing to see on screen for a change, rather than it being the usual exes, problems, arguments.
Well, you'll appreciate this, and I'm glad they didn't do it for the movie because of casting. But in the book, Lorna is his second ex-wife.
Okay.
So after he and Maggie break up, he gets together with Lorna. They break up too because he's still himself. He's the problem. He admits he's the problem. It's him, but she still stays working for him. So it's like he even acknowledges, like, somebody makes a joke too about how do you have two ex-wives that both. I think it's Raul who says, "How do you have two ex-wives who still like you?"
Yeah, sure.
But like you said, it's because it's never. He knows he knows he's a workaholic. He knows all these things, and there's this bigger arch of, like, you know, in this we don't know what the drive is. You know, in the book you find out a little more about what his driver is. I'll leave that for people to go find out. But I feel like regardless, it's still that same, like you said, he has the arc, whether it's a redemption arc or a hero's journey or whatever, to go from like this guy who's making all the money, who's trying to make bank. Like you said, he doesn't need that. I mean, I do like the idea of being a mobile lawyer in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is a huge pain in the ass. And if you are going to have to get from one side of town to the other, from one courtroom to the other as a defense attorney, going back to your office would be really problematic.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
You know, and it just looks cool. It's an alliterative title. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's definitely fun.
It's done that good job of having a cast of colorful characters. I was sort of thinking, is that the right word? But it is, because obviously
it is.
I mean, it's like people who actually seem like they exist in this world. They seem like people. They're not just cutouts.
Yeah.
But also they are being played by actors, like proper actors who can do something with brief screen time, with just enough of a kernel of something about their characters to get it across to you. So I think that good writing, good performances. And then we do come back to that thing you've already mentioned. McConaughey allows people to have the scene. I think it's a real great quality of his that Frank is a great example. William H. Macy, the scene when they're talking about discovering the tape and discovering that I can't remember the name of the character, like the girl who is the subject of the case for Louis,
Reggie.
the one that she's the one that's beaten up.
Yeah.
That you know, the discovery that she is a prostitute, as they like to keep using that term, and very much she's a prostitute. Really, the way they deliver it, every line. I know that's going to upset your ear. Sorry. Sex worker, but in the movie they call her a prostitute.
They do call her a prostitute. That is just the line from the movie. Correct.
Like, again, he just lets Macy have that scene. This is the scene for Frank. Frank has made this discovery. He's not so. McConaughey's not, I'm the star of this movie. I'm not, like, Haller could take control of that, and McConaughey could take control of that scene. But actually, it's about giving Macy and Frank the time to shine. I think it's a great quality of his.
Yeah, I agree. I think you want to, you know, it's not a one-man show, right? I mean, you can't, you know, and it's, give the space. And even the guy who plays Dobbs, the family lawyer, that guy, you know, he's like old man. Like, there's even the way that McConaughey as an actor, but then Mick as a character knows how to stand or move or do a thing around that guy. You're right. And I think, I don't know this director at all, but I think it's well shot. I think it's again, the pacing, whoever the editor is, good job.
Yeah.
Because you don't fuck around. There's not, and I don't, we just watched Jane Austen Wreck My Life, which is this French, you're shocked that we would watch that movie. It's a French romantic comedy.
I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's not what I wanted it to be, but it's fine. It's fine. It's half in French, half in English. It's all fine. Oh my God. The fucking long establishing shots.
Okay.
Okay. You know what? I get it. I get where you are. let's go. But like, I don't understand, and you're a film guy, but like, I don't need 45 seconds of watching a bird fly around to know where I am. Like, okay, there's water, there's a boat. Now let's you get on the boat. You're in France. Get on the boat. We know where you're going because you're going to the Jane Austen residency. So that's not in France. We know where you're going. Let's get there. I don't need to fly with the seagull the whole trip across. Like, we were on the boat. You established. Now get off the boat, and the guy's waiting with your name. I don't understand that scene. And Gail and I, this woman I work with, Gail, her daughter's the film producer. And so like, she's like, no, she always has a reason. They drive me crazy. Well, I know you need an establishing shot, but does it have to take 4 hours? This movie does not do that at all. It is like cars moving on the move, cut. Oh, everything.
The pace of this is mad.
And I think that's all comes down to the editor. So where do you feel as a film guy about a long establishing shot? I mean, Kubrick's whole oeuvre is long establishing shot. And, I'm not a big Kubrick fan, so maybe that's why. But how do you feel about it? And then, is like you just said, the pacing is intense. And so not having them, is that what makes it feel so fast?
Yeah, there's like, wow, where do we start unpacking this? So,
Bob, wherever you want to go.
Bob Gunton plays the family lawyer. People know him from Shawshank Redemption. So that guy's in it. Absolutely right. He takes a step back. When it's Bob Gunton, you take a step back and let him have his moment too. I think establishing shots, you're right, they're essential. But if you want to do more than just like, oh, here we are, let's go, they've got to be purposeful, right? And this is, I mean, who am I? But somebody
you're with a film degree. I'm asking. Yes.
Somebody like Andrew Dominic jumped straight into my head when you were talking about that. And I think of like the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, which is probably an excessively long movie. However, you don't. Well, I get it.
So
but actually,
good, though. God,
exactly.
So
actually, I don't want to leave that movie. I want to stay in that movie. I just want to keep living in it. He has excessively long establishing shots or nature shots. I love Terrence Malick, and I know he's not to everyone's taste, and he does a lot of nature and establishing shots and hanging with stuff. But it always feels deliberate. It's telling you something about that moment for that character, or there's a reason why we're staying in it. And I think that's deliberate by these filmmakers because they know what they're doing. Maybe I don't know who is the director of this, and I don't want to speak ill of people who are professionals, unless they deserve it, and then I will do it. But I haven't seen this movie.
Sure. Yeah.
But so without watching it, I don't know. But that's how I feel about that.
It's fair. I appreciate that.
It sounds like the film you've watched, they weren't purposeful. They weren't deliberate. It felt like maybe they were reaching for something. I didn't quite achieve it. I don't know.
Okay, I think that's fair. No, I get it with the Malick. I know what I'm getting going into, and I also know, like, how I love the Before trilogy and the beginning and the end of those movies. Because those establishing shots are telling you what's about to happen. That is part of the story. Like, here are the empty streets. Jesse and Celeste will be on these streets, and then at the end we see them again without Jesse and Celeste, and you're like, these things happened here. Watching just a pigeon fly for no reason. And like, if I feel like that 15-minute opening scene of the goddamn stagecoach in Hateful Eight can go fuck itself. Like, that pisses me off to no end. That was just like, I'm using real film and I'm going to make you sit here and watch this. That's what that felt like. That felt like Tarantino's like, I can't just show you my dick for 8 minutes straight. Like, they're not going to let me do that for some reason, but I can do this. Malick is different. I hear what you're saying, but I like the way that you describe it as like, it feels like it has a purpose. Like, there's definitely those movies where, like, Into the Wild, you're like, oh, I gotta sit here because that's that movie. Like, I'm crossing the English Channel. Okay.
Right.
Cross.
Yeah.
Move along. This is a romantic comedy. What are we doing?
Yeah.
So back to this movie, has no establishing.
Yeah. Well, it has an establishing opening credits, which, funny you mentioned Tarantino. It gave me a kind of Tarantino, Elmore Leonard vibe. The opening credits is all
Elmore Leonard, 100%. Yeah, for real. Yeah.
I can't think what the word is now. It's kind of, like, it's all like kind of mosaic tiled. I can't think what the word is now. It's like it's collagey, but there's a particular term that's not jumping into my head for the minute.
Oh, that has a term? That kind of opening? I love the opening. I thought that was great storytelling.
Yeah. But again, you've got to pay attention to 6-7 different things at the same time, all on the screen. It's zippy. It gives you the pace,
Yeah.
and we are off. We're off. I really like that about this. I thought it never let up, and I think, again, to me, it felt like a deliberate decision. I wrote in my notes like, this is deliberate, because we start off with the opening credits, and it's all handheld afterwards, isn't it? Mick gets out the Lincoln, and it's all handheld. It's kind of a walk and talk, and he's going to do the first case, and it's fast paced, and it felt like it was trying to show us this is what Mick's life is like, and he's got to think in the moment. He's got to make this decision, and he's got to. And I think that's what the whole film was doing. The pace was set to show us that this is the life he leads, and if he's missed something, as we discussed, he misses the tickets and the significance of that until later in the movie. We get it. We get why he missed that, because everything's happening so quickly for him. He's got so many different things to juggle. As you said, he's got a daughter that he's trying to be involved with, but even when he's with her, he's got to do his case at the same time because he's a one-man show. And yeah, I thought that was all really well done. And, you mentioned the director, Brad Furman. I don't know anything else that he's done either. And I looked at his filmography, and there's nothing particularly exciting or interesting there, to be honest, to go and delve into. And what I found fascinating going through the letterbox and putting my reviews for tonight was that there was a lot of criticism of the direction of this, which really shocked me, because I was watching it thinking like, ooh, crash zoom, ooh, whip pans, ooh, like these really interesting transitions into the flashbacks. Yeah. Okay, the flashback filters I get, that's kind of it's 2011 is probably a bit late for these kind of filters, but I get why he was doing it. Actually, I thought the flashback scenes were really interesting because they were really hard to watch in terms of when you see the violence meted out upon these women. Right. Actually,
I didn't like that. Yeah.
No, but I think we're not supposed to, like, that's deliberate again, right?
It's shot. It's not
supposed
leery
to be shot
in any
to
way.
be. No, it's supposed to be shocking and visceral. And I was watching this thinking like, ooh, how have I missed this guy? I need to see more of his work. And then I looked at his list and I was like, no, I don't. Which is a shame, because I agree. I thought this was excellently shot. Yeah. And as you said, hats off to the editors, because this just moves an absolute lick. It never stops. Ever.
And I love that. I'm here for that. It's funny. His last movie that just came out this year has got Jamie Foxx and Scott Eastwood and Robert De Niro. 3.3 on IMDb. It's called Tin Soldier. I am super going to watch the shit out of that. That looks awful. Oh my God. I can't wait. But yeah, Runner, I definitely saw. Infiltrator.
That passed me by with Bryan Cranston.
Cranston, that was good. Cranston's in this.
Yeah, briefly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kept waiting for him to turn. Where is he? Kept waiting for him to turn up. Where is he? Oh, he's
out there. 8
3
seconds.
scenes. Okay.
Yeah. Something called City of Lies with Johnny Depp and Forest Whitaker. Missed that one completely. But yeah. No. I mean, I get it was, and this is the question. So the thing is that we said, because we both praised the editing, and like we've talked about that, the best episode of Buffy, right? The editing is the trick in the body, right? That's the whole the way, and all of Buffy, the way that Buffy is edited is so well done. But that episode in particular was and like you've talked about, the reason that the end of Jedi, the final act of Jedi works, is because the editors should have won an Oscar for best editing. Like that is the best third of, like, Jedi's good. I'm still an Empire guy, but like that final third of Jedi could have dragged on, but it can't. They don't allow it to. They never let up. So that's my question. I'm wondering, and I can do the dig, if he's always used the same editor, and is it that his directing is so good, or is it that you've got McConaughey, you've got Marissa Tomei, who I'm going to say something shocking here, because she is an Oscar winner and she is Aunt May, but she's underrated and underused. Agreed. In the world. She's always good. I've never seen her be bad. You never catch her acting. In that final Spider-Man, when she has to deliver the Uncle Ben line, earnest as fuck. She's so good. She's so great all the time. She's charming. She's just amazing. So I don't know what it is. I don't know why we've decided to not use more immersed. And maybe it's a choice. Maybe it's a choice on her part. But could it just be that he's got these amazing actors? He's got William H. Macy. He's got Leguizamo. He's got young Michael Pena. He's got this amazing cast doing good work and a good editor. So maybe they made him look good. I don't know.
I mean, looking at the list of films and the ratings they've got, I mean, as much as you put onto ratings, but probably. It's I don't know. It's a shame. because I was all in. I got to the end of this and I was like, wow, I really enjoyed that. I'm shocked. I really haven't seen this before. But I really enjoyed it. What's this guy done? Let me just start doing some digging. And nothing of really jumped out to me. I was expecting to see, at least one little gem in there, other than Tin Soldier.
Gem, I'll let you know. Max probably owns it already.
Sure, definitely. Yeah.
It's him or John. One of them, John Hammond. Somebody owns a copy of Tin Soldiers on like Blu-ray and can tell us how shitty it is. De Niro, though, he likes to show up and keep working.
For sure.
There's no doubt about that. Yeah. No shame on that. But anyway, I think it's really. I'm with you. I think it's good. I enjoyed it. I thought again. I'm not a Ryan Phillippe fan. I'm sorry. I'm just dunking on him. He's fine. But I don't know. Go. He made a big sigh. I want to hear it.
Yeah, it's because the other thing this really reminded me of, and I know this isn't a great movie, and I think you would probably just start annihilating it if we were discussing it, is the Samuel L. Jackson Shaft movie.
Yeah, I've
which
seen
was
that.
about 10 years before this, which is very average and obviously doesn't have anywhere near the weight and quality culturally as the original Shaft, of course.
Correct.
But the Christian Bale character in that feels very much an inspiration for this. That's kind of white privilege, that gaming the system in order to try and do what you want. Like this woman is trying to say something. We'll give it that credit. I'm sure Connelly's book is definitely trying to say something about the people in these positions.
Yeah.
But that Shaft movie is average at best. Is not as good as this in any regard, I don't think. But the Bale character in that is really, really memorable.
Correct.
To the point that I'm watching this, I'm like, oh, okay, this feels like Felipe's watched that movie and is trying to do that, and he is nowhere near.
No, that's a great shot. Yeah, the new Shaft, the third Shaft.
Yes,
that one was way better.
With all three of them.
All three Shafts. That one was actually so much fun. That one decided to have fun, where the Samuel Jackson reboot Shaft did decide to not have any fun. I mean, it tried. So you watch the trailer and he throws his badge and it's like Shaft. You're like, oh my God, this is going to be great. You're like, what? Whoever gets an award for the trailer on this, that was not fun. You're right. Not that that character was evil. I think you're right. But also, obviously, Christian Bale is better than Ryan Phillippe.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to, really.
Right, because it is a tough. But interestingly enough, in this movie, you have other actors who could have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Michael Pena, who is known for being funny. He can play a serious role. He's got a real minor part in here. But there's just other actors, and it's just, I don't know, it's just everybody around him is just better, and it's just he's such a sore thumb. The guy who plays Minton, the other lawyer, is better. Everybody's better, and it just
that the Josh Lucas.
Yeah.
Which I read somebody called him the poor man's McConaughey, which was made me laugh out loud because it is amazing. So true. Sorry, amazing. Josh Lucas, but he's never going to hear this. It's true. Felipe is fine. He's always
just fine. Yeah,
he's just fine. But I think the role he's playing requires layers, and he doesn't have them. Right. He's pretty, and he sort of does okay when he's being that kind of rich, charmy, smarmy. But as soon as we start to peel back the kind of villainous nature of him, it doesn't work because he doesn't have that range. He's not menacing in any way whatsoever.
I was going to say cold-blooded. You said menacing. That's the better word. You need to pull it off. The reason, again, to use him as the example, but the reason that Bale does Bateman so perfectly is because he got the assignment.
Yeah,
he got the dead eyes, the disconnect, the mental gymnastics that it takes for Bateman to believe he's the hero in this story. Mm-hmm. I mean, I still don't believe any of that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still believe. I think. Reading I read the book again last year. None of it's real. Like, I refuse to believe any of it's real. Like, it is all a figment of the very unwell person's mind. So no matter how you read it, whether you read it's real or not, he was all in playing Patrick. He was like, I'm going in. I'm going to do it. It is uncomfortable. And but he's menacing. And he's imposing, and it's not like Ryan Phillippe is like schlubby or anything. He's not like, Shea, who's in this, who I love, who's always good. Shea Wiggum. It's not like it's not like him, where he's more menacing in this.
He
too.
could have done a good job, actually. Yeah, always happy to see Shea Wiggum. Yeah,
he's always great, and I mean everything he's in. He did a lot of Sam Esmail stuff. He showed up in Homecoming or whatever. He's just fantastic. He's always good. But yeah, even he's a little more menacing in this. Yeah, so it just didn't work the way that it should have. The woman who played the mom, Mrs. Windsor,
Frances Fisher, yeah, she's good.
She's very good. Yeah. So I think Ryan Phillippe is the and again, we're not shitting on this. It's a very good movie. It's a very good B. It's a B. It's very good.
I think the trouble with him as well is, despite irregardless of like talent, and he's fine, but he's not good enough. Is that he still looks like he's about 12.
Right.
But this is 2011. He might as well just come straight off the set of I Know What He Did Last Summer. Right. He doesn't really look much older, really. So again, I think he needed to be in that kind of like, I don't know how old he is here, but he must be in his 30s. He must be my age.
He's supposed to be 32.
Right.
He says the age.
So he doesn't look it at all, does he? That sort of late 20s to early 30s is exactly where I would have pitched this character, this kind of like privileged, but still acting like a little...
You know who I would have cast? You know who would have been better? And this is crazy because he's Paul Rudd.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because he can act. I've seen him do serious stuff.
Yeah.
And I think then you're like, because he can play innocent so well. And I think that's it. Ryan Phillippe doesn't even play, like he's got the baby face and everything, but he still doesn't come across innocent enough either. He's just a douche.
Yeah, the scene where you're like, okay, I know where this is going, is we get a couple of F-bombs, right? And we won't say it.
Don't like it.
Don't like it, but again, I understand why it's there in the script, because it's like, okay, if he's using that sort of language, there's something sinister going on.
Right, because he's writing over the top of what Frank says. Frank says you were being pinned down by two homosexuals, and he says the two F-bombs, and then Frank then repeats it. He says, right, correction, that. And then you learn later that Frank is gay too, so that made it even more of a... like... Also, it says a lot about Frank and his character that he doesn't get up and walk out.
But there should be layers going on in this scene.
Yeah.
I think you and I are probably doing the same work watching it.
Yeah.
That isn't being done on the screen. Yeah. So Paul Rudd would have been great. I was just thinking of something like DiCaprio. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
For all his faults as a serial dater in real life, that guy who started off as the pretty boy has so much layers when he wants to, and what he is able to do as an actor is just. Don't imagine him in this role at this point in his career again. Yeah,
it would have been 2011. Yeah, that would have been a sweet spot for him. Yeah, no, I think I was right. There's just a ton of people of that older your generation, like the older millennials who are just not quite Gen X.
How dare you? I am just Gen X. How dare you?
You're Gen X I apologize. I take it back. I give you back.
I own that.
I never want you. I didn't want to take it. I apologize.
I'm gripping on by my fingernails to that
Gen X. But you know what I mean? Like the people who, and Paul Rudd is firmly a Gen Xer. But yeah, I think the people who are like the people who are now in their mid to late 40s. There's a ton of really good actors there who could have done it, and maybe this could have been a star breaky role, because Christian Bale always worked. That was his, like when they were like, what the fuck? What is that? Like when he pulled up, and that's the thing, like nobody saw American Psycho.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Nobody saw Fight Club. But they're like, what is this guy? Right? Like Brad is so great in that. You know what I mean? It's like, there's these things that people can do. And it's not fair. I mean, there's always going to be a range. Not everybody gets to be Meryl Streep and, Helen Mirren, right? I mean, of course, there's got to be work for other people too. But I don't know. Okay, let's quit dunking on Ryan Phillippe. Anyway, so I enjoyed it. I'm glad we watched it. I am really, seriously, I'm glad I read the book. I'm all in to go read more Connelly. I mean, truly, I'm really fascinated. It was so pacey and good. And I just was not I just didn't know what to expect. But to just have it be like ripped right from the page. Yeah. And that's the thing with Furman and the editor got the assignment. They're like, this book doesn't breathe. And I think Elmore Leonard is the great example, because as you've read some Elmore, there's no standing around. No. And even when there is standing around, there's with a purpose. Yeah, purposeful standing. Yeah. Because actually the ending of this, and I will start wrapping up in a sec, the ending of this with the kind of like
face-off moment, I suppose you could call it, when Louis's been released on bail again, and Haller knows he's going to go to his family house. Like the Haller sat in the chair on the front porch, and the Felipe character came out, was very kind of like justified. Just see Raylan sitting there, and so that again, like that felt very kind of Leonard. That kind of made it felt. I can see that being maybe an inspiration for Connelly at times, and I can see that this is probably, like I say, I think I too, this is a new writer to put on my list to check out maybe, because the way that the events were sequenced and the escalation of those and the reveal of these kind of twists, I think were just really well done, and that's why for all the faults, and I hear the criticisms. Patterson, as we said, he can pace a book and he can do a twist. He can't. Very rarely can he end a book, but the build up.
His series keep going.
The build up to the ending, the pace and the kind of reveal of twists are normally pretty well done, and I thought this really handled that well. Like, the F-bomb. Okay, I see something's going on here, but then they're like, and then that one, and then that one, and then just you get the final kind of mother twist at the end. All of that really works, I think, in this.
It really does, and I think that's important. But it's all there. That's the most important thing, is we were talking off air. It's like you drop the line early. You give us the breadcrumbs, so that you don't do sex machina either, because there's nothing more lame than the reveal is it's twins. You're like, what?
Yeah. Okay.
There is some movie, I can't even remember, where Margot Robbie at the end, it's revealed that she's twins. I sat through this whole fucking movie. It's like this weird noir movie, and I'm like really digging it. And then at the end, you're like, twins. What the fuck you? I was so mad. I was like one of those ones I downloaded to watch on a plane because I knew it was going to be like noir and Lee wasn't going to care. I was so pissed. I was like, are you kidding me? That is the lamest bullshit, do sex machina bullshit. Don't do that. It's twins. No, it isn't. It's never twins unless it's the Prestige. And the twins are in front of you the whole time.
Yeah.
Then it works. That's the only way it works, is like that. And the book and the movie, they're like, here it is right in front of you. That's so well done. So that's just it. I think like he's a crime thriller guy, but he's using mystery techniques. And I think that's why maybe that's the differentiator, is it's not just like a fast-pacey, punchy guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a mystery, and the clues are there for you to follow. And I think that's why this works as a movie. McConaughey does a good job of like getting smart and figuring it out. Having a right hand, it's a shame, right? It's a shame like that you lose Levin.
Yeah.
And that's a shame too, because that's a good character to have. You got to have so I assume in future books, maybe Earl becomes his leg man or something. You got to have Lorna becomes his investigator. He's got to have somebody continue to do that work, because he's, like you said, he's a one-man shop, but he's not.
No. But he's
So good. So anyways, I was just very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, me too. Like I say, in multiple levels, we'll just say it to finish off one more time. Hadn't seen this before, despite firmly believing I had.
100%.
As California Soul kicks in, great needle drop at the end. I was like, well, okay, I really enjoyed that. That was I was in all the way through. Never got bored once.
Not once.
Everyone,
almost
nearly everyone, was really good in it. Well cast. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was right for 2011. It could have just been whatever. It could have been just really impressive.
It feels kind of timeless, actually. I did, because you have the one scene when he speaks to the cameraman outside the office, and he gives him a VHS. He ejects it. He's like, "Can I pay for you?" And I was like, "Whoa, when's this set then? That's weird."
Yeah,
it kind of has a nice timeless quality in that. I mentioned The Firm, that feels very much for time and place.
Yeah.
Whereas this kind of, you could watch this in another 10 years and it wouldn't feel that dated again, I don't think, because they have kind of digital files and mobile phones and the stuff that you would associate as being like modern, but also feels like it could be a bit further back in time as well.
No, that's a great point. It's very good. And I think that's the best kind of noir does that. I mean, you've always said it when you talked about, when you described Raylan, he's a white hat cowboy out of time. That's the best thing about Justified, is that when is it? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Could still be now. Could have been when it was made. Could have been 20 years before that. Yeah, for sure.
Because the story, if you've got a good story and you've got compelling characters, and then you've got people to bring them to life in this way. And I guess Neve Campbell plays Maggie in the show. She's also underutilized, in my opinion. Also very good, you know. So I think that's good because the character has got to be very fierce. She's a prosecutor. She's a badass. She's a single mom. She's all these things, and you got to have someone who can carry the weight of that. And Tomei is really, and you got to go toe to toe with McConaughey. I mean, obviously Nev Campbell. I don't know who the guy is from the other one. Nev Campbell's the bigger name in the TV show than that guy. Where, and again, I still think at this time, Marisa Tomei was probably the bigger name. Right? He's gone for 2 years.
Yeah,
and he's back.
And he's back, and the reconnaissance is kicking off.
I love it. Yeah,
I've got a good run. It's an exciting time. Before I start moving forwards, I just want to do a little pause. I'm going to ask you to look back. It's going to be my last question, and then we'll do some letterbox and we'll get out.
Okay.
So this is now the 4th time McConaughey's played a lawyer. So we've got A Time to Kill.
Yep.
Amistad. 13 hours of conversations about one thing.
I wish you guys had done 13 hours instead of a 2-hour show. A 13-hour show would have been great.
It was long enough, I think. And then this. So it's interesting. It keeps going back to that. Well, like, I guess I got a couple of questions really. Like why? Why does he keep getting drawn back, and why do people keep wanting him to do that? And then which one is the kind of the best now of these 4? Do you think?
Those are good questions. Why him? Because I think, I mean, there's a reason, like on American TV, and I don't know what it's like on British TV. You guys have lots of crime shows, and it's like, you know, it's like David Tennant and Olivia Colman walking around in the cold, and they're like out doing stuff. What is that? Broadchurch? I still have not watched that. I'm like, God, I can't believe we're in a show together. I need to watch that. But like, you guys do lots of cop dramas. America loves law shows, like Law and Order. Like the stars of the law are the lawyers. Like we've got a ton of those, and so I just think it's just. It is an American thing. I mean, like Jimmy Smits has done a million things, but in America, he's not most well known for being Princess Leia's dad. He's most well known for being on LA Law, not even showing his ass on NYPD Blue. It's LA Law. There's something about this, like in America, there's very be a lawyer, you know, like that is like lawyer and doctor are the prestigious things. And there's just something about that. And so there's a sense of power, like, oh, you went to law school, that must be hard. And we sort of lionize lawyers. And so it is a hard job to do, and and there's a lot of things you must do. I mean, one of Richard Gere's most famous, like most memorable performances are always when he plays a lawyer. Is in Chicago, Primal Fear. There's something about that. So I just think, plus I think the material literally is worth sinking your teeth into, because if you're doing like regular lawyer and you're just like, I'm just pleading out cases all day long, and that's just my job is to be like, going to sign this, and it's just paperwork, that doesn't work, because there's a lot of that. But when there's a real case, like that becomes historical record. Like when you think of like the Scopes Monkey trial, there's like real trials that are big, like, and in America, we fucking put court TV is the thing, right? There's like, I mean, the O.J. Simpson trial was broadcast live, and people watch that shit. And so I just think there's this fascination with it. And so why McConaughey keeps being brought back into it, because he is straight from central casting of what you want. Like if you wanted somebody to defend you, you want the handsome white guy that everybody's going to hang on every word.
The homeboy, that's not the right term. Like that kind of that warm Texan kind of
correct.
Home friendly accent.
And, you don't want William H. Macy even to be your defense attorney, right? You don't want somebody who's out with a cane to be your defense attorney. You don't want somebody it may be the best lawyer in the world, but and this is just the fact, like in people's minds, this is what they think. They don't want their lawyer to be in a wheelchair.
Right. Yeah.
But,
okay.
Right. Yeah. And that's just dumb. Like, you know, Roosevelt was in a wheelchair, but like in public, he always would get stood up and hang on to the podium because of the look of what it would look like. You know, like Roosevelt couldn't have been elected president now in the age of TV, right? Even though that's dumb. So I just think there's just something about it. And so he's just...
he fits the mold, He
fits the mold of what you're looking for. He
also went to law school, didn't he, as well, of course, himself famously. Always going to go to law school before quitting to go to film school. So perhaps why he keeps getting tempted back.
Yeah. So what's his best performance? I mean, of those 4 movies, I like this one the best, but I still think A Time to Kill is probably the better performance.
Interesting.
Because of... I don't know. I don't know. That's my feeling. What do you think?
I think here, I do think this one. I think this is the best movie of the four, and I think
it's the best of the four. Sure,
he is able to show more now. Much as we've spoken about with Oliphant through our Year of the Oliphant, I think you can see the growth of the actor, and I think as Halle here, he's got layers that he couldn't quite bring in A Time to Kill at that point in his career.
That's fair.
And I think A Time to Kill was the more showy role, and he has the big speech in that. There's no real big speech here. Actually, all the court scenes are quite small scale. There's not very many people in the court. It's quite a small space. I thought that was quite interesting. That again, it feels like that's trying to say something. That because she's like, like kind of I don't know what's called, but maybe in like an immigrant country, or she's not all pure white. And he is a white guy. Why would this be a big deal? It's not. So I felt that was trying to say something there. I've not used any of the right terminology there, but you can tell it's because we've got to the end and my brain is running out of steam. None of that was meant offensive, if in case anybody took it that way. So I think I do think this. I think I can understand why this is kind of seen as like tick. This is the start of the next phase of his career. I get it.
I do too. I do. I think this is the better of the four films, but I get what you're saying. But I think that's fair. I think it's just so good.
All right. Do people on Letterboxd agree? Silverpunk says, I really like this sub 2012, but this rewatch was not kind. An admittedly strong first half an hour or so, and Matthew being right at the beginning of the reconnaissance certainly helps. But it's visually washed out, with countless distracting, awful camera editing choices. Also, there are numerous moments where they cap on an extra sentence at the end of a scene to recap all the dialogue that just happened.
Well, thumbs down. I disagree on your editing, sir or madam.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? But there's quite a lot of reviews out there complaining about the style of it. But
I've enjoyed. My brain said yes, more, please.
Mine too. Ian, though, he's got a different viewpoint. He says, a slick-moving and entertainingly convoluted legal thriller that helped kickstart the famous reconnaissance. When I look back at McConaughey's 7-movie run towards Oscar glory, I genuinely believe Lincoln Lawyer and Mud are his best performances.
Oof. I mean, Mud is great. I'm excited to hear. Who's on with you for the Mud?
That might be the American Wife duo, I think.
Oh, nice. Ooh, that'll be like totally different from the... For something completely different. I think that's fair. I just I guess I'll have to think about it in those terms as I listen along. But I was just really impressed. I think it was well edited. It was well done. To me, is it time to say where I rank it?
Please do. Yeah, please.
I think because this kicks off the reconnaissance, because his fucking name is above the goddamn title, this is a classic. It isn't his best movie, but it is really good. And I think this, in whole of his career, is a really specific choice that he's making. And so I think that's what makes it a classic. It's just like his first movie. I mean, obviously, come on. But this, like, to see what you've gone through, that you've churned your way through, and you've got a couple of stinkers coming too, but this is just really good. So for me, I'm calling it a classic because it is him. He stuck his flag on the ground and said, I'm waiting for this. And he proved it. He was on point. He was charming. He held his own with Marissa Tomei. I think it was really good. So I'm calling it a classic because, I mean, I like Mud more than this. I have to rewatch Mud. It's been a while, but like, just was so impressed. And maybe that's just it, because I didn't know what to expect when I rolled up and started watching it. And I was just like, charmed. I think I can't. It'd be interesting to look back. I think this might well be top 10 for me. I think by the time we get to the end of this process, I think it's a really strong entry. And I think you watch Dazed and Confused, and if you then skip to this, I don't know if you'd know it was the same actor. Right.
This journey has told us how he's got there, but I think if you just watch those two, I'm not sure if you didn't know, I'm not sure you'd say that was the same guy.
Correct. I couldn't agree more.
So the journey he's been on has been worth it for the point we've got to now, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant, mate. Thank you so much for this. I appreciate it.
I am happy to have done it.
And I think everyone will agree you are not guilty. Bang the gavel and the bongos if you're so inclined. as the McConaissance has officially begun, with a film and performance to rate as one of McConaughey's best up until this point in his career. My thanks to the NT Guilty Tony for stepping in and helping me launch Act 2 of Season 2. I couldn't think of a better chauffeur to drive the show forward. Thanks to you too, the listeners, for your continued engagement and participation as we journey through the McConaissance. That was The Lincoln Lawyer. Next up in a fortnight, the hosts of This American Wife podcast return to the show to discuss Eminem's reunion with Richard Linklater in Bernie, for those that are watching along. Until next time, be excellent to each other and make sure you take the time to treat yourself too. I am Jack signing off. Yippee-ki-yay, movie lovers.
You just gotta keep living, man. Livin.
Cut.